Many anglers take it slow when fishing spring walleye, but as Jon Thelen shows us next, there are times when it's more effective to crank things up.
There's one right there. Ooh, feels like a pretty good fish. It's actually pulling a little drag on me. That's a good way to start, huh? That feels like a pretty decent fish. This is probably one of the most overlooked tactics there is in the spring. Is trolling cranks for walleyes. Most people think that everything has got to be slow and methodical. But let me tell you something, fish like this one right here, they're willing to eat a crankbait. They're willing to eat aggressive stuff. It's all about timing and conditions. And if you put the two of those together, here's what you can do. You can catch walleyes like that in 56-degree water this morning, okay? It's chilly yet. There's no reason that most people would think that these walleyes are ready to hit a crankbait. But you know what? They will. And we're gonna talk about how to make that happen today, because fish like that, they're just waiting out here to bite. There's nothing gonna stop them from biting. They're ready to put the feed bag on and get going. The spawn's behind them, everything's wrapped up. But you don't necessarily have to be slow and methodical to catch them. Sometimes you can be fast and aggressive. And that's what we're doing this morning. We're wound up, ripping along at 2 miles an hour, right over the top of structure, trying to pick off fish that are up here feeding this morning. And they're up here for one reason, and that's to eat. And that fish right there, I mean, he just smoked it. We just started this pass right beyond those two boats you see in the background there. And that quick, we got a fish in the boat. That's a good start. There's one right there. Looks like a pretty good fish. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a bigger fish, you can tell right away. I mean, he just drilled it there. He hit the surface back there. That's a bigger fish. When they hit the surface, you hear me say it a lot in deep water, but it's the same even in shallow water. Just keep them coming, don't slow down. When they hit the surface, just keep them up there. If they get back under, that's when they can get turned on you. Throw a hook. That's a really nice walleye. Man, this is fun. It's fun doing something that really, I mean, there's other boats here this morning. Nobody's doing what we're doing. Look at that. Another great spring fish. Conditions, you know, when am I gonna do this? What's gonna make me say, hey, today I'm gonna troll cranks, even though it's early, even though the water's chilly, you know, what's gonna make me do it? Here's what's gonna make me do this today. Here's why I made this decision this morning coming out. The weather conditions for this today are absolutely perfect. Here's what they are. I've got some overcast. There's a little bit of sun poking through here and there, but these fish, they're gonna be up on top. When you get overcast like this and you get out here early in the morning like I've done today, these fish are gonna be on the tops. And when they're on the tops, that's when they're the most aggressive. You can troll cranks out deeper and you can catch fish out off the edge. There's no doubt about it. But when I'm out off the edge, a lot of times those fish are sitting more. They're not as much on the move. So what I'm doing when I'm out there is I'm parking over the top of them with live bait. What I'm doing here, knowing these fish are cruising this top, is I'm cruising the top with them. And I'm going fast. 2 miles an hour, which in my opinion, that's flying for springtime. I mean, we're ripping right along. 2 miles an hour, getting them to chase. But like I said, remember, these fish, they're already up here chasing because of these weather conditions. The other thing I'll add to it that can really, really help, and I mean, you don't have to have it, but man, I'll tell you, if you can have a little bit of wind, it really helps too. You know, you get an overcast day, that's the first thing. cloudy, overcast, that's the first thing I look for. But boy, you add this little bit of ripple on top of the water and there's not much light down there compared to a flat, calm, sunny day. And these fish, they're cruising these tops. And that's the time you just want to cruise these tops right along with them, just like we're doing here. There's one right there. Oh yeah. Slow down a little bit. Got out a little deeper here. You get out a little deeper like this, and you get a little more line out. You know, you just got to drag them further. I don't ever stop the boat, but I'm not opposed to slowing it down to make sure we get them. Oh yeah. 70 feet to go. There he is on the surface. Another good eye. Sometimes the key to catching fish is just getting away from people. And that's what I've done here. I've just gotten away. I've just gotten away from people. Got him. Great fish. I want to tell you a little bit about what I'm using here, because this is a pretty cool bait, and it's very much an unknown to most people. This is what's called the cotton cordell minnow. And what this is just a short little 4.5-inch minnow that's designed for fishing year round. That's a great eye right there. Another great fish. That's awesome, man. I'd just take those all day long. But here's what this bait's designed to be. I got a couple of them out right here, so I'll show you these. Number one, it comes in 2 different diving depths. It's the same size, okay, same length. You can see right there, they're the same length, but this shallow version is gonna dive 6 to 8 feet, somewhere in that neighborhood. And this one here, the deeper one, this is gonna dive 12 to 14 feet. But what makes this bait so great is because of its shorter profile, you can get away with this bait in the spring, and it's great in the fall. It's great through the summer months if you wanna put it on lead core. Just an awesome minnow bait. Great value price bait as well. It's called the Cotton Cordell Minnow. Real simple deal. Nice rattles inside of it, nice high pitch rattles. Just a great all around bait. Great for trolling, whether you're long lining like I am today and that shallower stuff, you know, 20 feet or less. And you know, right there, I was just coming off a hump, slid out off the hump in 20 feet, and that fish came flying in and smacked it. And I was probably running the lure 14 feet down as I had dropped it. But man, just a great lure, great swimming action. Awesome lure. Look for these on the store shelves, because I'll tell you what, this one's gonna help you catch a lot more fish. There's one. Yep. That feels like a good fish. Huh. And these fish are scattered. You know, the other benefit to trolling is in the spring, these fish are still scattered. They're not schooled up yet. So a lot of these guys that are sitting still, they don't always realize it, but they're only fishing for a fish that is moving through, because they're not real schooled up yet. And a lot of times they'll be fishing for singles, one fish coming through at a time. Where when you're trolling, you're making it so that you're passing your boat over these fish consistently. And that's one of the other things about why I really like trolling at this time of the year, because when these fish are still scattered out, I'll tell you what, it's a deadly tactic, because you can get to them versus waiting for them to come past you. Another great eye. Look at that. Perfect. Settle down, we'll lift you right out of there, buddy. Look at that. Great fish. But by doing what we're doing, we're able to cover the ground that it takes to find these fish. And we're just getting after them one after another. I mean, it's just awesome, because we're finding them versus waiting for them to find us. All right. Here's fish. Same thing. One after another. I don't know if you can see all the boats way back in the background. I've kind of migrated away from where there's many boats, and I'm just fishing pretty much alone out here. There's a boat right over here, and there's a couple back behind me, but I've been able to move away from people for the most part and catch fish. And one of the bonuses to trolling cranks is you can do that because you're covering enough ground that you can, you know, you're moving and moving and moving, and gives you more chance to find fish that other guys aren't on. Those guys back there, they're on some fish. They've gotten in quite a pack, and it was just a pack that I didn't want to be around. It was just more boats than what I wanted to fish around. But trolling enables you to cover some ground and find new and or your own fish. Another great eater size fish. Look at that, came unhooked right there at the net. Got lucky there. I was close to not having that fish in the boat. They're a great little male walleye that just got done spawning and headed out here. But man, you can sit and do this, and this is so much fun. If you get a chance to get out and try something different, you just have the time to go experiment with something, go do this. Spring trolling is really overlooked. There's a lot of fish to be caught, and I'll tell you, I'm not seeing a whole ton of fish being caught today. I bet you I'm doing as well or better than anybody else, even in this colder water, even at this time of the year, pulling cranks. Get out and pull some spring cranks. You'll find out that it's a pretty doggone effective tactic.